Okay, Bold for Christ YouTube channel here. The other day I did a video, it was called Society Needs Polygyny, and in that video I was talking about how the society, how the world wants to restrain men when men are intended to be free, and it likes to give men no outlet, you know, like lock them in cages and put heavy restrictions on them, and it's really left this world in a big mess. And so after I did that video, I thought, wow, this is the same thing as monogamy only. And I didn't even realize how prophetic that was until after I did the video. And I'm like, oh, I left out a whole portion of it. So here's kind of the second part of that. So just like I was saying in that video, how the devil in society likes to constrain men and just give them no outlet, which causes like an explosion of sorts, right? Which causes society more of a reason to imprison them and lock them up. It's the same thing with monogamy only. I mean, here men are created with these urges, right? With these desires, these sexual desires, with these urges. You know, men see a beautiful young lady, a beautiful body, and it's very difficult on them, right? So what does society do? Society implements monogamy only, okay? Says you cannot have more than one woman, okay? Then it legalizes pornography, right? Legalizes fornication, legalizes bunghole sex, right? Legalizes all these wicked abominations, right? But then it restricts man and says, oh, no, you can only have one woman, right? Well, God intended for a man to be able to have multiple women. God intended for there not to be pornography, for there not to be fornication, for there not to be adultery, for there not to be bunghole sex, right? But society, the devil does the exact opposite of all that, right? Restricts man, restricts their sexual desires, doesn't allow them to have multiple wives, you know, because a wife is going to go through a period where she's menstruating, right? Sometimes she's not in the mood, right? And when you implement monogamy only, you're putting the power into the wife's hand, okay? But the men are still going to get that release. They're still going to do that. Not everybody has the control of somebody like me who lives a lifestyle sin-free, free from sin. And I like to quote Romans 6:14, because I am not bound under the laws of sin and death. I am free from those, right? So not everybody has the ability to have a beautiful woman show up at their front door desiring to have sex with them and turn it down. Even though I have the same healthy desires as every other man, that yes, I do desire to have a woman, okay? But I'm able to overcome that through the power of the Holy Spirit, knowing that I would prefer to wait on Yah. I prefer to wait for a virtuous woman. And if that virtuous woman does not exist in this lifetime, then my faith is that in the new kingdom, in the new Jerusalem, that she will exist. And in that some way, shape, or form that I'll be rewarded for my faithfulness and not going down the path of fornication, as 99.9% of men do, right? So it's another good example of men being restrained, right? And I know there's a lot of like I don't know if they're Christian or so-called Christian. I don't know everybody. I don't know. But there's a lot of, you know, even street preachers that pretend like, hey, you know, they can be out preaching and that they don't notice these women. They don't notice them. I mean, I always noticed them, right? Did I go home and masturbate about them? No. Did I lust for them? No. Certainly I noticed their beauty. I noticed that fine figure, that beautiful physique that God created. He created it that way, okay? He's an artist. He's an amazing artist. I mean, the watchers, the angels, left their post because they saw the daughters of men and how beautiful they are, okay? They left their post and they came and they fornicated or mated with the daughters of men because they were so beautiful. So I'm not going to sit there and try to act like, oh, I don't see that. That doesn't exist to me. No, it exists to me. I see it. It's very real. It's there. I don't go hunting any of that down on my computer. I haven't viewed pornography in over 11 years since I've been saved. I haven't lusted in over 11 years since I've been saved. But I've never stopped noticing the beauty of God's creation. Not once have I stopped noticing it. But because I have control over my factors, I've never given into that. And because I don't have to. I'm not under the law of sin and death. I'm free from that. Okay, so society would be better if it had polygyny, because it would allow men to have multiple wives. It would allow them to get their release as much as they need. They would not have to look to fornication or pornography or adultery or any of these things. So does that mean everything's perfect in a polygynous society? No, but I think it's better. You know, we still live in a fallen world. That doesn't mean one of our children can't grow up to kill another child. That can happen in monogamy. It can happen in polygyny. It can happen anywhere. We live in a fallen world, and that's going to happen. But what polygyny does is it restores the patriarchy. And right now we don't have a patriarchy. We have a monarchy. Not a monarchy, matriarchy. All right. God bless. Hope this message resonates.